Hello all, Fish here. Thank you for joining me. If you are a first-time viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. As I'm filming this, it is November, which means it is Native American Heritage Month here in the United States. In turn, I will be featuring and doing reviews of movies with Native Americans. Today's movie I will be reviewing is Smoke Signals. This movie is very well known in my family. I am so sorry, family. This is a first time watch for me, so please don't kill me. I know some of you have already let me have it when you found out I haven't seen this, so I've seen it. So thanks. Okay, I want to give a little backstory about this movie first and foremost, and then I'll go into a little synopsis, a little overview, and then a little review of how I felt about the movie. First off, Smoke Signals was released on July 3rd, 1998. It is an independent coming of age comedy drama film directed and co produced by Chris Ayer with a screenplay by Sherman Alexie based on his book, The Lone Ranger and Tonto Fist Fight in Heaven. I love that title. I thought that title was so awesome. It had a budget of around $2 million and grossed roughly $6.7 million at the box office. Although it is not the first film created by native filmmakers, it is recognized as the first feature-length film written, directed, and produced by natives to reach a larger audience here and abroad. It actually was well received by critics and won several awards. One thing I do want to note, in 2018, Smoke Signals was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant, which I found amazing. I found that awesome. That was so cool to me. With all that being said, it does have an overall score of 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I do want to throw that out there. So it is well received by audiences and critics. So I am going to be going over the actors and as a very small cast. So we have Adam Beach, you have Evan Adams, you have Irene Bedard, Gary Farmer, and Tantu Cardinal. Cardinal. Why did I say Cardinal? she's French. It's Cardinal. She's native. Come on, fish. Okay. And Tantu Cardinal. Cardinal. What, I'm bougie with it. No, we're native. We're not bougie. Trust me. But anyway, so that's the cast for Smoke Signals. I am actually going to be jumping into a little synopsis overview of the movie, giving you a little rundown. This film begins on July 4th, 1976, on the Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation in Idaho. It's just your regular, typical 4th of July, fireworks, hanging out, friends and family. Later on in the night, it does turn tragic, though, when a fire breaks out in one of the homes. There is a lone survivor, and it is a baby. He is tossed from the second-story window by his parents, and he is caught by Arnold Joseph, who is a fellow native on the reservation. The baby's name is Thomas Builds-A-Fire, who was raised after that night by his grandmother. His grandmother is holding Thomas, and Victor Joseph is there with his wife Arlene, played by Tantu Cardinal, and with their baby Victor. Let's see. Okay, so after the fire, Thomas's grandmother says something to Victor's father, Arnold Joseph, that struck me as a little. She said thank you, and he said something back to her that struck me a little odd at the time, but after watching the movie, makes perfect sense. So the night ends. Victor is raised by his grandmother after that night. We jump 20 plus years into the future to 1998, where we meet up with our two main characters, Victor and Thomas, who are both grown up. There's a small short scene where you can get to see the dynamic between the two. Victor is more outgoing, very athletic, whereas Thomas is very shy, reserved, and you can see the dynamic. It's great, the difference between the two. After this scene, we take a little flashback to 10 years to 1988, where we find young Victor and Thomas, and we find out that Victor's father, Arnold Joseph, has up and left the family and moved to Phoenix. So that is where we find Victor's father is in Phoenix. As the story goes on, sorry, I wrote some notes. I'm not a film critic, so couldn't remember everything just off the top of my head, but because it was a first time watch, so I did keep some notes. So we go back to 1998, where Victor's mom, Arlene, receives a phone call from someone in Phoenix. I believe she says her name there. I believe she says Susie Song. I believe it's her name. Yeah, Susie Song, played by Irene Bedard. We don't see her until later, but she tells Arlene that she's going to get the affairs in order, get everything ready and set. So we've come to find Victor going to the local convenience store to cash a check. It's $40. Thomas is there, and he offers his condolences and tells him that $40 isn't going to get you to Phoenix. And Victor's like, what do you care? And he's like, I can help. He's like, I can give you money. He's like, I can help you. So that $40 isn't going to get you there. And in exchange for his financial help, all he wants to do is to be taken along. And Victor refuses, declines his offer. Nice way to say. Declines his offer. So he heads home to his mother, and she tells him, I apologize, that's all I've got. It's the $40. He said, I know. But she tells him about Thomas's offer and about how he wanted to help. So she begins to tell him a story about everyone telling her she has the greatest fry bread in the world. Now, natives, you know that's a big deal when somebody tells you you got the greatest fry bread. I'm not gonna crush any dreams, but I won't tell who's my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a favorite. I love them all. Aunties. I love all the fry bread, all of it. Anyway, sorry. So she tells him a story that she learned this recipe from her grandmother. She learned it from her grandmother, and her grandmother learned it from her grandmother, and so on and so forth. Now, she also tells him that throughout the years, she's gotten advice from other people, and she's incorporated that into her recipe. So, after telling the story, we get it. Yes, Mom, we understand. We all need help. So, after that, Victor ends up going to Thomas's and accepting his offer, and our adventure begins. We meet some very interesting characters along the way on their journey, and a couple of them we meet even before we get off the reservation, which is awesome. There's a couple of girls in a car, and I know quite a few of my native family members can kind of relate to this. Their car is only able to go in reverse, so they're driving down the street in reverse. Get it? You got to do what you got to do. You got to get where you got to go. That's how you get there. You're going in reverse. So that's how we're going. Anyways, they happen upon our two main characters who are walking to the bus stop to head to Phoenix. They offer the boys a ride in exchange for one of Thomas's stories. I forgot to mention Thomas is a avid storyteller, tall tales and whatnot. But they offer a ride in exchange for one of Thomas's tall tales, which was very interesting. It was very entertaining. So when they get to the bus stop, I want to talk about this interaction because I actually want to talk about the dialogue here because it has a little more impact post pandemic. Um, it's still hilarious. I still found it hilarious, but it hits a little different post pandemic. So when they drop the boys off, they asked if they have their passports, and the boys are like, "Passports?" Like, yeah, you're leaving the res and going to a whole different country. And they're like, "But it's the United States." It's like, damn right it is. That's as foreign as it gets. Hope you two got your vaccinations. Boom. It hit, and I chuckled, and I'm like, man, that hits a little different. It's the comedy's still there, absolutely. It just post pandemic, it hits a little different. But yeah, I thought that was very entertaining. I thought that was great. Um, and on the way, after they get on the bus on the way to Phoenix, Victor tries to teach Thomas how to be more Indian. Um, Thomas is always dressed in a very nice suit. His hair is braided. So Victor tells him, you got to change out of that suit. You know, you got to actually literally let your hair down. You know. So Thomas takes his advice, changes clothes. Love the shirt that he has on after the change. It's fantastic. Um, and then literally lets his hair down. So I thought that was awesome. After they arrive in Phoenix, they meet up with Susie Song, Victor's father's neighbor, his friend. I'll just say is Victor's father, Arnold's friend, Arnold Joseph's friend. Anyways, they meet Susie, and she has taken upon herself to have the body cremated. So she gives over the ashes. She offers them refreshments, and Victor refuses and says that they have to hurry home. And Thomas says, "Man, I'm hungry." She's like, "All right, we'll stay." So they stay for dinner, where Susie, after dinner, proceeds to tell Victor stories about his father, in the time that they knew each other. Her father, or his father, oh my god, I keep saying her. Victor's father would tell Susie stories about Victor growing up and stuff. So, Victor eventually learns the truth of why his father left so many years ago. Um, sorry, notes again. So after that, Victor has a moment in his father's trailer, and this is to natives this is a really big deal. Cutting your hair. Um, so he does a little trimming. I think more of as a release, letting go, than anything. So after that, the boys leave early in the morning. They start to head home, but on their way home, they run into some trouble. Run into a little accident, but in turn, that accident helps Victor realize some things further. Um, After the accident, they head home again, and finally, when they arrive home, um, this short but impactful journey the boys take had them grow closer. Victor was able to forgive his father about why he left. Um, and in the end, he is able to let go of um, all the anger and the hate and resentment that he felt, and was finally able to let go, which is really, really awesome. So, and that is where our movie ends. So, Um, Overall thoughts, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Some of the phrases that they used in this movie, I took me back to growing up with my cousins and family. Uh, there are a couple of A's and a lot of in it, in it, in it. So every time I heard one, I get a little chuckle. I was like, oh, that takes me back. That takes me back. So even though this film would seem like it is more geared toward a native audience, I believe the themes that they touch on in this movie are universal. They could they're for anybody, absolutely. This movie is about friendship. It's about family. It's about finding out the truth, and ultimately about forgiveness. Um, so I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Adam Beach as Victor was great. The one that stole the show for me though was Evan Adams as Thomas. Thomas and his tall tales and just his demeanor and everything about him touched something inside me because I felt a little Thomas in me too. So I felt that a little bit of Thomas there. So I was drawn a little bit more towards that character. So I really, really enjoyed that. Um, so, all right, guys. Well, that is my review. Like I said, I'm not a critic. I just love film. I, if I were to rate this, I guess I don't know, out of 10, I guess I give it like an 8.5, 8.75, way up there, right up there. One of the best movies that I've seen. I really, really enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed it so much more because of the whole native aspect of it. But like I said, anybody could be able to watch. Anybody should watch this. Could watch this and get something out of it because the themes in it are universal. Um, so let me know what you like or what you thought of my review in the comments down below. Also, please, if you did, like the video and also subscribe if you're not already. Don't forget to hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any future content. I will be featuring more Native American films this month, and also it is the month of Thanksgiving here in the States, so I will be also doing reviews on some Thanksgiving movies this month as well. So please come back and join me for those. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this review and you have a wonderful day. Bye.